So, Alito, and gratitude for all you that have come. My name is Brother Manny Friendship, call me Monday. And I'm going to get some enlightenment on my version of graduation, where I'm just letting you guys know you can interact, but I pay homage to the people of the balance that I come from, my co-creators, my parents. And I definitely add in other people, but you guys are more than welcome to add and join in or whatever, say names, but as always, we should always, I'm trying to think. I want to do this right, so may I have permission to speak? Because I think you might be the other in the room.
Or you? No.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. But I just want to pay homage to, so.
I want to say right, but I think I'm younger than you.
Well, Brad, no, I'm younger than you. You go ahead and speak, man.
Okay, appreciate it. So, young brother back there in the back, as long as you got that ear like a radar, so you can hear what I'm saying. I'm glad that you're here. First of all, I want to thank the young brother for coming and spending some time with us as we enlighten ourselves and re-enlighten ourselves. One of the things that we have to do, I know for myself, I relearned a lot of things that I learned when I was your age. So, one part I bet you that. Say we have to definitely re-enlighten ourselves to individuals of melanated consistency that have paid the difference and made the difference for us, where, like we were just saying, a lot of things that we're kind of getting back in tune with, they're not new. So you've had Dr. John Henry Clark, definitely had Malcolm X that did some things, and from my personal aspect, I wasn't a fan of King at all, and this is his weekend. But I've been enlightened to learn some things that, to show us that he wasn't what the media always portray him to be for them. So we have to get past that and stop letting them feed us. So you got Dr. Check out the Dio, Elijah Muhammad. There's so many names out there. Like, they flood me. Abdul-Qadir Cabral. The names are endless, but if we can research these people, their spirit is in us. We have to, attest and attribute and learn. Go back and learn. Sankofa. So we have to go back and learn our stuff. So with that, I say. I'm not gonna. We've been here for a while, so I'm not gonna go in depth because I can get deeper. Whoever your creator is, always know we some people. So we should be in tune with nature. This cold, this ain't for us. It's not natural. You can't grow nothing in it. So a lot of us, we depend on a lot of things. You got people that have produced things, but they were under other people's thumb, I guess you could say. Where I know some others said, man, I'm not going shit, excuse my language, because I slaved in it. But our ancestors, they laid the path. We get food like substances. We're not eating food. So to those ancestors, because that's one of the things, we chemically being poisoned. I mean, it's hard. It's hard, because if you only got something they made it where a bottle of pop is cheaper than buying some fruit to make you smoothie. So to those ancestors that planted those different things, those that have been experimented on, something we don't think about. The stuff that a lot of them went through, it's a book, Medical Apartheid, that talks about it. How that and the guy that I met, Tyson Brady into that. The brother that was in this movie, the school who sat by the door and talked about how the stuff that our ancestors have been getting through time, it's enough. I mean, the chemicals, the deadly chemicals. So you add that to the stuff that these young people are taking out. You wonder what people are mental. All of this is mental what's going on in the street. It ain't nothing else. It's mental. So for those ancestors that tried to show us the way, say libation. For myself, on a personal note, like I said, because my parents aren't here anymore. I always come from my place in my heart, my God and Goddess. So you guys can name your ancestors of your lineage if you choose. But my God and Goddess, my parents, my co-creators, Mary and Charles, Friendship, my brother Jeff, my niece Shalon. You know, these are people, the things that I'm striving to do. It's like I'm carrying their burdens. Because as I grow and evolve, there's a lot of stuff that I'm getting on, like, I know they didn't get it. You know, so with that, you can name anybody that you
my mother Donna, my father John, Mr. Care,
Brother Bernard Clark. I mean, just whoever you can think of. We have to give power. Just keep talking. I'll talk over you.
Yeah.
We have to give power to our ancestors. Because those are the people that we knew who we come from. And not to disrespect anybody in their religion, but we don't know who did.
Sisters and brothers.
Her sister could have did. I'm just saying.
Right.
Her sister may have done it. So give acknowledgement to your ancestors. You got to, so with that, I
Ashe.
and lastly, for myself to you all. My space started, and my genesis was on October 9th, 1973, 12:33 a.m. And with that being said, always know for my people melanated of the sun, my love extends into infinity. That means it's never ending and it's everlasting. And so know that if I can do something for my people, I'll do it. If we ain't got our stuff in order, we can't really be dealing with nobody else. So we have to be in tune with that. We have to, as parents, we have to keep educating ourselves. School don't stop, because we got these seeds, and you want to know who your baby does. You know what I'm saying? So he got friends come over, you got to teach them. I mean, and the thing is, they might not get it, but the main thing you did was plant a seed. So they'll be around here eventually. Get some of them, you can't expect all of them, but it's like a baseball game. 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10, you got 300. So with that, well, I basically said, so with that, I'm gonna wrap up, and you guys, I'm gonna do it 2 more times.
Ashe. Uncle Jackson there.
And now, for the brother Xolani Yaaba. This brother here, I'm gonna give y'all a brief story how we met. He was on the Fort College Grove. We on Randolph. We were downtown anyway. We on the back of the bus. I'm talking to another student from the center, and you know sometimes you notice people, looking at you from the side. So I glimpsed at him a couple times. He interjected some stuff while me and the sister was talking, and coincidentally, he got over at the center, so I'm like, so now my antennas are really up. Like, oh, okay. Maybe he knows something. I know he's younger than me. And that's the thing, younger people, I mean, I don't know how you guys think I am, but I'm not as young as him, so I value the younger people getting these things at their age, because I did. So anyway, from there, long story short, we got to talking, and I'm like, man, this brother, for me, I'm like, man, what you like, 26, 27 years? That's young. That's young, so he getting old now, but he's young. but enlightening, sitting down and talking with him and knowing some of the stuff, because we've shared information where things that I didn't know, things that he didn't know. So we go back and forth. So on the thought process, like I was saying earlier, teach me to think. He teaches me to think. At his age, I got another brother in here that enlightened me with some stuff. We'll get him on the camera later. But Brandon Xolani, I'm sorry, you can scratch that out. Xolani is definitely a valuable asset to the melanated community, because he's like, hey, how can I best put it? He's constantly digging. He's digging for new stuff. And one of the things that we dealing with our children in schools, Malcolm said it best. You know, we allow our enemies to educate our children. And I mean, I heard that some years ago, but I wasn't really like in tune. You know, and my children are 19 and 16, so I really feel bad, for real. Because it was talking earlier about the good schools. Good school for who? I mean, I was married, but I was the one that was filling out the stuff in these schools, selecting enrollment schools to get my children to. And come to find out, I mean, now that my son is out of school and my daughter's a junior, it's not what we should be. I mean, I know it's public and it ain't free, because I had to pay school fees every year. So it ain't free, you know, but the indoctrination is taking place. How you doing, sister? The indoctrination is taking place. And so, like I said, taking my daughter to, you know, they had open houses for the high school. And we go to the Whitney Youngs and the schools of this nature. And I thought, she know me, how I would come. And she knew, Daddy, I like Whitney Young, but, you know, I don't know how you feel. You know, I don't. I don't have no love. It's not, these schools are not good for our children, our people. And it's been doing this for generations. I don't know if he's going to tie into the 1954 Quran versus Board of Ed. Of course. But that killed a lot of stuff, you know, for our grandparents. That's why when they went to school. So just think, if you think, what are they teaching to your parents and what are they teaching you? And so you can't allow the school to do everything as a parent. You're supposed to be the primary teacher. You know, so you're doing like the Jews do and the Asians, where they're buffering what's been taught throughout the week. You know, we don't do that, unfortunately. So we get caught up in the mind games thinking that, well, if I go to Whitney Young, I mean, don't get me wrong, you get exposed more. You know, you have some exposure, so maybe some different options. But for who, at the end of the day? So, brother being here in this school, and y'all don't know how many emails I sent out for people to come. And a lot of times, testing people from sending out stuff, I know who I'm going to deal with further. I'm not going to deal with it. Because if you're not, as an adult, you're not really constantly thinking and re-evolving yourself, I really want to be around your child. I mean, I can work with them, because I think we can probably do something better with them when we came to adult, but it's something to learn. But Brandon is challenge zone. It's challenging people to think. So, with Mom, you being here, I applaud you, having your baby here, and for you guys to come to get this. I mean, y'all got the space. Just like being at a school that, you know, ain't nobody here. A big class. You can ask all the questions you want and whatever you got on your mind. You know, so with that, I'm gonna welcome you guys to Brother Xolani Yaaba and the young master teacher. All right, so much love. My name is Xolani Yaaba. The title of this presentation is Afrikan Centered Education with a K, derailing the academic auction block. So I have laid out a diagram of the school system and prison system, which I'll call the academic auction. The principal is the warden, teachers are the corrections officer. The classroom is the cell block, SWAT is either police or school security, but most school security off-duty police officers. And then in-school suspension is solitary confinement. And I've learned this knowledge over time, being a product of special ed in the Chicago food system from 7th to 12th grade. I went to Kenwood Academy for high school. I went to, for elementary school, I went to William H. Ray in Hyde Park Elementary School, and then I went to Burt Hart for kindergarten, and for pre-K I went to Luke Lumen Center, like on the west side.
mother provided me with opportunity where she was able to advocate for me. The most, in special way, you only getting like mine maybe 10, 30% of what you're supposed to be learning, but I got about 90%. My mother was advocating for me, didn't allow the school to put me on meds, then requested that I had a black social worker who refused to have a white social worker work with me. So these are some quotes from the book, The Psychopath, the Racial Personality of the Essay by Dr. Bobby Eugene Wright. These are two quotes that stick with me. So Bobby Wright, Dr. Bobby Wright, Dr. Wright coins menticide. So menticide is defined as the deliberate and systematic destruction of a person's or group's mind with the ultimate objective of being the extirpation of the group. And he also said, this is one of my favorite quotes by him, dealing with institutions in our community, how we're going to control institutions. Blacks are still enslaved today for the simple reason that all of our life-sustaining institutions are controlled by Europeans. That is slavery, not oppression. So there's a difference between oppression and slavery. So I do a lot of work with the youth inside the school and children outside of school on community level. But I do a lot of violence intervention. So they have this thing in hip hop, the hip hop youth culture is the ops. So the ops is the opposition.
You know, you got markers and everything.
Yeah. So the ops, OPPS, I say, is the oppressor or system of oppression. Or the oppressor or system of oppression. So I listen to a lot of hip hop. So I look at the ops, they're trained to self-hate. Self-hatred is an undiagnosed mental illness. It's something that is being imposed by the mental side, but through miseducation. The book, Carter G. Woodson writes, The Miseducation of the Negro, who breaks this down. So I say, I have a lot of friends that's OCD, but I have this acronym called OCS, not OSC, Oppressor Savior Complex, or White Savior Complex. So this goes what Nikki Fuller calls the 9 areas of human activity. So entertainment, media, entertainment, education,
economics,
religion, spirituality. So in most black churches, you see the white Jesus archetype image. But in Chicago, it's I call him Father Faker, but Father Michael Flagler has the black Jesus.
Right.
And I've had a professor, we all know his brother, educator, but he said he loves my Father Flagler. Like he's a real down-to-earth brother. And I also have had a lot of issues with Negroes. So Negroes are the people that I call them, I have this philosophy where I call them shea butter nationalists, and also closet Europeans. So Dr. Clark has this philosophy of showbiz liberation. Somebody had a dashiki on, throwing up the fist, black power, black love, black unity. But in the means, they want the same thing that Europeans want. They have nice cars. They be eating the shrimp, the lobster, eating good, but still throwing people our community table scraps in the community. It was a film, Four Brothers, with Mark Wahlberg. It was the main drug dealer would treat his other employees like they weren't working anything. So basically, in the film, one of the sisters that was there, one of his employees, they were still, him and her were still eating. He was like, "You want to be disrespectful?" All right, he took his food, throws it on the floor. He was like, "Eat." He's like, "My professor, you want to help him out, you can get down there and join you, man." Right. Then they get down there and they're actually eating off the floor. Another example I can use as far as that is into self-hatred in the film Baby Boy by John Sanderson. In the beginning, he puts Tyrese Gibson's character in the womb. So he breaks down what Dr. Wilson is saying about the black man or the Americanized African man as a boy. He calls his home the crib. He calls his friends his boys. He's real attached to his mother. The mama boy syndrome. And then in the film, it's the same where Tyrese's character, Omar Goodman character, goes to kill Snoop Dogg character. And in the process of them killing him, Tyrese sees his face pop up on Snoop Dogg's face in the film. And there's a lot of different instances of propaganda that are great. Great Debaters is a good example, showing the struggle of the black, pro-black scholar that's for his people, that's trying to advocate and do work in the community.
How you learn it?
How to learn, I was just getting ready to get there. Ice Cube character and how to learn. That's how I was in college. When I was in undergrad, I was at Western Illinois University in Nkrumah, New York. Very racist town. Cornfields. It's a prison not too far in Galesburg where they send a lot of black people that are locked up through, the 13th Amendment and a variety of other racist, eugenics policies. What happened, I was an activist on campus. They would call me Malcolm Stokely on campus, but I got banned from going to campus events at one time because the president would be talking and I'd get up in the middle of it. Sometimes I'd go walk on stage and then they would escort me out the building, so I got banned from doing campus events, and they also tried to hold me from getting my degree as well. So I got invited to the president's office and his home for dinner for student leaders on campus, and he was saying some real slick stuff, so I'm brushing it off. But then he invites me to his office, and he was like, yeah, Brandon, I heard the calls of ruckus on campus. He's an alpha. I call him Uncle Thomas. So he invites me, he was like, yeah, I can shut you down. I was like, can you hold my degree? And then I asked him 2 more times, he said, no. I was like, do what you want to do. So basically, I had to graduate like a semester later. Also, I had issues with my current, I just got my master's from the Afrikan Centered for Inner City Studies at Northeastern Illinois University. There are the current professors there. There's a bunch of them. They're Negroes. All of them. But it was one in particular that's a product of the University of Chicago. That's from Bronzeville, the Bronzeville community. And she told me I had to do my research on Black Lives Matter, otherwise she would not sign my graduation application. Wow. Me and her would go at it all the time. It was an event where the journalist Natalie Moore wrote a new book called The South Side. So I was on the panel. Some people was in the room that I had, and she kept ducking my questions. So every question I asked, she would duck it. So now at this point, I'm getting frustrated. So I was like, what did I say? The question was, on the south side of Chicago, is that ethnic cleansing? Actually, I made her stutter. And then my professor that signed off on my graduation application interjects.
She jumped in and saved it.
Jumped in as a savior. And also I did a lecture called Intellectual Gangbanging and Fraternal Order Afrocentricity. In charter school movement, the flyer was out, and one of the professors signed off, well-known scholar in the community, does a lot of violence intervention work and gang work. He pulls me to the side, another person in the building who's an office support staff, that's a student of Jacob H. Brothers, Dr. Jacob H. Brothers, they pull me to the side. These older scholars tell me, if you do this lecture, we're going to shut down your academic career. I still do it.
Right.
So what it was, it's a lecture you come in called, I think, academic game. That's the name of it. Breakdown of social sciences, anthropology, which is culture, economics, which deals with like money, history, archival research. Then you have psychology, which deals with the mind, mental health. Political science deals with policy, and then sociology is the study of groups. So I do this lecture. I get the idea from Steve Copeland, who did a lot of research on exposing the boule and the black bourgeois. But I do the lecture, and I've been having a lot of issues with going on to the next level. Academia, so I am being railroaded. They actually pulled $2,000 of my student loan money as well, denying me from graduate assistantship. So I still owe the university money. They still have my actual degree. And they would try to, the only thing about it, they would try to, they wouldn't even let me at a certain point answer questions in class. It's like, you always ask questions. We want you to go first, and then for presentations, they would make me the last person to go. Because they knew for a fact that if I went, it would be difficult for anybody else to come behind me to do it. But you're consulting me about what kind of courses you should have as electives. You send the other students for me for help, but you're denying me access to get money to pay for my degree. So I deal with a lot of Negroes on that level, and I'm familiar with the whole conscious community thing. I get invites all the time to do debates from Salnetta and a wide variety, do lectures all the time. I get invites to do interviews for CNN, Fox News, all the mainstream media want to interview me, but I know if I take that money, the risk that comes with that money. So I would rather struggle and deal with the nonsense as opposed to selling myself short and taking the money when I know there's no finances when it comes to liberation. There's none.
Called integrity.
Freedom, you can't get freedom begging for freedom. You're gonna have to take it. But I want to touch on Brown versus the Board of Education. So, Brown versus the Board of Education, 1954 decision. So, before I get to this, it was some psychologists that were husband and wives, the Clarks, Dr. Kenneth Clark and Dr. Maynard Clark. They used dog tests in the 1940s to see how black children were raised. They recently had a new one where they did it in Italy with black children. It was recent. But the black girl in the video was like basically tells the European psychologists that now you're insulting my intelligence. That I know that you're racist. I know this is just a test. She's like a 7 or 8-year-old girl. Yeah. But she's saying it like in the language.
Okay.
But on the test, they testing what children view, how they view race. So it was like, what's the pretty dog? They picked the white dog. What's the ugly dog? The black dog. So this is the precursor to Brown versus the Board of Education. It takes place in Topeka, Kansas. The Brown family wants to integrate into public schools. It becomes an issue. They take it to the Supreme Court. This integrates public school. This provides opportunity for black children to integrate, but doesn't allow the black educators to integrate. This is like, why would the slave master or overseer let the slave teach their children? That would never happen. Simply for the fact that somebody has control over you would never let you have an opportunity to teach their children. They might let you nurse them, take care of the sisters, or the archetype or the caricature, the ancient Mammy character is the mother figure, the matriarch taking care of the children. They let you feed them, they let you breastfeed them. Let the mammy or the woman breastfeeding, taking in the lab. Most of the people in the house, if you pay attention, the only time a black boy is in the house is he's a child of the master. They always have daughters, whether it's cooking, cleaning. You see on the show Underground that John Legend had. It showed when the youngest child got of age, he was like, the wife put him in the field. And there was a scene on that show where the boy is his brother. The master's son was like, yeah, I'm gonna get you out of the situation. He was like, man, forget you, man. Like, I'm in this situation now where if I don't pick enough cotton, there's a certain amount of weight, I'm gonna get wet. And his brother actually his oldest brother takes a beating for him because he wasn't able to pick enough cotton. And then after that time, he got his weight up. Like he was putting the Vaseline on his hand, and he got more than expected. And the overseer was so upset that he couldn't whip him. He's like, I'm gonna get him. So in certain instances like that, the academic ultra block, the school system is no different than the prison system, no different than the plantation. Most European educators are women that are married to European slave control men, because this is where the runaways, this is where police come from, slavery, where they would have bounty hunters,
Slave control.
and slave control. So if you want to run in the culture, the best example I think of this is Life, with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence in the film Life. Eddie Murphy's character name was Ray Gibson, and Martin Lawrence's character was Claude Banks. So Claude gets himself into a bit of a bind financially, and they have to go pick up, I won't get too much away, they have to go pick up some bootleg alcohol for the owner of the nightclub that they're in. They go down there. Ray is from the streets, he goes gamble. And what happens is he gambles away all the money, the gas money to get back. There's a guy in there, I think his name was Winston Hancock. He's sleeping with the sheriff's wife. And the sheriff was like, yo, we gotta get out of town. He was like, yeah, ask your wife about him. And then basically they grab him, but he slices him with his cane. And then he has a scar, and they kill him. And when Ray and Claude walking back to the car, Winston Hancock bumps into Claude, and blood is all over his shirt. And then they get locked up, and they get life in prison. And what happens is, there's a character in there that I use to explain with the Negro, is a character in the film, Hoppin' Bob. And Hoppin' Bob said he'd come down harder than you've been boss with. And what happens is, it's a lot of Negroes in the community, not just in the community, the schools, politicians, the Negro preachers. So it's an image of Rahm Emanuel with Reverend Finney, and Reverend Brady from Apostolic Church of God. I grew up in the church, but his father did a lot of similar work. And a lot of people I know that still go to church, they're like, oh, he's not meeting with the mayor, sitting down with the mayor, and I'll show them the picture. And they got so upset, they was like, he's not meeting with the mayor. I mean, you tell me he's doing a press conference with the mayor for moral support there. But he's not receiving any money or funds from the city. Rahm Emanuel, I call him the Obama boys. You got Rahm Emanuel, Arnie Duncan, and then you have Chance the Rapper, his father. Chance is the first rapper. People are gonna get upset by this, but I have to expose it. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be me. It's in my DNA. Chance the Rapper's father was connected to Jews. He did some work in the White House. Not only that, he was the chief of staff for Rahm Emanuel. Chance is not getting on these radio stations because he's such a great artist. He's not getting a Kit Kat commercial because he's such a great artist. If he isn't connected to the Jews, why is he in the picture with Kill Clinton?
Why is he setting our mind before him?
If you know the history of the Clintons, the 3 Ks, Hillary Clinton, and killed Clinton. How much money they had taken from Haiti. Not only that, the eugenics that they're doing with the vaccines.
3 strikes.
The 3-strike law.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi, right?
Gaddafi.
Well, he blew a saxophone to his right.
And this is what happens. It's not just Chance the Rapper. We can even touch on other people. People are going to get upset out of touch on this. Jesse Williams. People are like, oh, Jesse Williams, oh my goodness, he's a black man. Even though he's multiracial or biracial. He's married to a black woman. Why would this black man, he goes on BT. BT isn't even a black-owned network. Robert Johnson, the founder of BT, did a lot of eugenics in Haiti as well. He sells the BT to Viacom. But Jesse Williams leaves his black wife for a Yoruba, which are Europeans. We can even look at J. Cole. People are gonna get upset. I don't care. J. Cole mentor Jay-Z. Jay-Z's mentor is a powerless Warren Buffett. A lot of people don't know J. Cole did a concert with Jay-Z, Beyonce, and other artists for Hillary Clinton for a fundraising campaign. It's a wide variety of different celebrities that have put out, oh, I gotta touch on this. Sorry people, Colin Kaepernick. We gotta touch on this.
I thought you were gonna say LeBron James.
I could touch on that too. But Colin Kaepernick is known for kneeling. But Field Marshal Conrad George Jackson said, the blood in my eye, that we cannot trust Ali or Clay types, a celebrity, because they're still a part of the system. Why is it that he's praised so high, but then he's sitting down at the table with Black Lives Matter, DeRay Kirsten, and the co-founder of Twitter? It's an image, you can look it up. But Colin Kaepernick, where is he getting all this money to do the No Rights Camp? I actually went to the No Rights Camp, and he has a whole bunch of Europeans around him. And he has a lot of these celebrities around him. These people, we cannot depend on celebrities or Negroes that have money to speak on our behalf. We can even touch on Jay-Z as far as that. If you know Jay-Z and his history, him coming from the streets, why would he name his record label Rockefeller Records? Replace it with an A to make it more urban. But the Rockefeller family has a long history of funding all black schools, such as HBCUs, such as any form of black educational institution. The Rothschilds, the list goes on, the Vanderbilts, Carnegies, these people control the system. Jay-Z's mentor, I repeat, is Warren Buffett. If you know who Warren Buffett is, he's a power leader that has a lot of money and control of what goes on in society. Also, George Soros is another name you should be familiar with. A liberal philanthropist that's responsible for funding Black Lives Matter. Michael Brown first gets assassinated, lynched, political assassination and lynched. George Soros puts $33 million in, and it was paid activist groups that had a hashtag called Cut the Check. You can look up Cut the Check. You can go on social media, hashtag Cut the Check. And then banging on, going to the door, please, please, master, please give us our money. We really need it. And integration, not the school integration, but integration put us behind angry lines. And we have to discuss this. So, as far as integration goes, this goes from relationships that you have. There's a lot of black men that become celebrities, and they eventually go on to marry white women, European women. So what happens is, when has a wealthy white woman gone to the streets of the block to get Ray or Man off the block and marry her? They'll never marry down. That's pretty much, you pretty much pillow talking with the enemy when you do that. There's no guarantee that when you marry and when you die, where is your money gonna go? It's gonna go back to her mother country or his mother country.
Communities.
And even in the community, you will see a lot of brothers and some sisters with the significant other being a European or oppressor, European, Asian, East Indian, Arab, what have you. And then also, when we go to like gas stations and institutions, getting back to all of our life-sustaining institutions are controlled by Europeans, that is slavery, not oppression. We can go in the community gas station, Harold's Chicken, any location in the inner city, or even sometimes the inner ring suburbia or the inner suburb, there'll be glass. So you have to go in and slide on the glass. And then even at the Chinese restaurant, this happens to me on several different occasions. Chinese people will put the money on the counter. They don't want to touch you, you're dirty, but they'll take your money. Also, cultural appropriation, have dashikis in there, have the kufis in there, the weed, they have all these different things, the fake nails, whatever you need. It's a lack of us on the institution. We should be owning the hair business. Even looking at KFC, where did Colonel Sanders get the recipe for fried chicken? And even if you look at the newest modern KFC commercial, it shows instances of them being on the plantation. Like him in the fields, and a wide variety of other things. But Brown versus the Board of Education is the precursor for what eventually becomes charter schools. So charter schools are happening because Europeans saying that black children were integrated into the schools. And they pulled their children from the schools in the lives. Most of the people in the house, if you pay attention, the only time a black boy is in the house is he's a child of the master. They always have daughters, whether it's cooking, cleaning. You see on the show Underground that John Legend had. It showed when the youngest child got of age, he was like, the wife put him in the field. And there was a scene on that show where the boy is his brother, the master's son, was like, yeah, I'm gonna get you out of the situation. He was like, man, forget you, man. Like, I'm in this situation now where if I don't pick enough cotton, there's a certain amount of weight, I'm gonna get wet. And his brother actually his oldest brother takes a beating for him because he wasn't able to pick enough cotton. And then after that time, he got his weight up. Like he was putting the Vaseline on his hand, and he got more than expected. And the overseer was so upset that he couldn't whip him. He's like, I'm getting it. So in certain instances like that, the academic ultra block, the school system is no different than the prison system, no different than the plantation. Most European educators are women that are married to European slave control men, because this is where the runaways, this is where police come from, slavery, where they would have bounty hunters, slave control. And slave control. So if you want to run in the culture, the best example I think of this is Life, with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence in the film Life. Eddie Murphy's character name was Ray Gibson, and Martin Lawrence's character was Claude Banks. So Claude gets himself into a bit of a bind financially, and they have to go pick up. I won't do too much for it. They have to go pick up some bootleg alcohol for the owner of the nightclub that they're in. They go down there. Ray is from the streets. He goes to gamble. And what happens is he gambles away all the money, the gas money to get back. There's a guy in there, I think his name was Winston Hancock. He's sleeping with the sheriff's wife. And the sheriff was like, yo, we gotta get out of town. He's like, yeah, ask your wife about him. And then basically they grab him, but he slices him with his cane. And then he had a scar, and they killed him. And when Ray Claude walking back to the car, Winston Hancock bumps into Claude, and blood is all over his shirt. And then they get locked up, and they get life in prison. And what happens is, there's a character in there that I used to explain with the Negro, is a character in the film, Hoppin' Bob. And Hoppin' Bob said he'd come down harder than you been boss with. And what happens is, it's a lot of Negroes in the community, not just in the community, the schools, politicians, the Negro preachers. So it's an image of Rahm Emanuel with Finney, Reverend Finney, and Reverend Brady from Apostolic Church of God. I grew up in the church, but his father did a lot of similar work. And a lot of people I know that still go to church, they're like, oh, he's not meeting with the mayor, sitting down with the mayor, and I'll show them the picture. And they got so upset, they was like, he's not meeting with the mayor. I mean, he's doing a press conference with the mayor for moral support, but he's not receiving any money or funds from the city. Rahm Emanuel, I call him the Obama boys. You got Rahm Emanuel, Arnie Duncan, and then you have Chance the Rapper, his father. Chance is the first rapper. People are going to get upset by this, but I have to expose it. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be me. It's in my DNA. Chance the Rapper's father was connected to Jews. He did some work in the White House. Not only that, he was the chief of staff for Rahm Emanuel. Chance is not getting on this radio station because he's such a great artist. He's not getting a Kit Kat commercial because he's such a great artist. If he isn't connected to the Jews, why is he in the picture with Kill Clinton?
Why is he saying not my reform?
If you know the history of the Clintons, with 3 Ks, Hillary Clinton and Kill Clinton, how much money they have taken from Haiti. Not only that, the eugenics that they're doing with the vaccines.
3 strikes.
The 3 strike law.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi, right?
Gaddafi.
Well, he blew a saxophone, so he's right.
And this is what happens. It's not just Chance the Rapper. We can even touch on other people. People are going to get upset. I have to touch on this. Jesse Williams. People say, oh, Jesse Williams, oh my goodness, he's a black man. Even though he's multiracial or biracial. He's married to a black woman, but why would this black man, he goes on BT. BT isn't even a black-owned network. Robert Johnson, the founder of BT, did a lot of eugenics in Haiti as well. He said it was the BT the Viacom. But Jesse Williams leaves his black wife for a Yoruba, which are Europeans. We can even look at J. Cole. People are going to get upset. I don't care. J. Cole mentored Jay-Z. Jay-Z's mentor is a power with Warren Buffett. A lot of people don't know J. Cole did a concert with Jay-Z, Beyonce, and other artists for Hillary Clinton for a fundraising campaign. It's a wide variety of different celebrities that will put out, oh, I gotta touch on this. Sorry people, Colin Kaepernick. We gotta touch on this.
I thought you would say LeBron James.
I could touch on that too. But Colin Kaepernick is known for kneeling. But Field Marshal Conrad George Jackson said, with blood in my eye, that we cannot trust Ali or Clay types, the celebrities, because they're still a part of the system. Why is it that he's praised so high, but then he's sitting down at the table with Black Lives Matter, DeRay Kirsten, and the co-founder of Twitter? It's an image, you can look it up. But Colin Kaepernick, where is he getting all this money to do the No Rights Camp? I actually went to the No Rights Camp, and he has a whole bunch of Europeans around him. And he has a lot of these celebrities around him. These people, we cannot depend on celebrities or Negroes that have money to speak on our behalf. We can even touch on Jay-Z. as far as that. If you know Jay-Z and his history, him coming from the streets, why would he name his record label Rockefeller Records? Replace it with an A to make it more urban. But the Rockefeller family has a long history of funding all black schools, such as HBCUs, such as any form of black educational institution. The Rothschilds, the list goes on, the Vanderbilts, Carnegies, these people control the system. Jay-Z's mentor, I repeat, is Warren Buffett. If you know who Warren Buffett is, he's a power leader that has a lot of money and control over what goes on in society. Also, George Soros is another name that you should get familiar with. A liberal philanthropist that's responsible for funding Black Lives Matter. Michael Brown first gets assassinated, lynched, political assassination and lynched. George Soros puts $33 million in, and it was paid activist groups that had a hashtag called Cut the Check. And you can look up Cut the Check. You can go on social media, hashtag Cut the Check. And they're banging on, going to the door, please, please, master, please give us our money. We really need it. And integration, not the school integration, but integration put us behind angry lines. And we have to discuss this. So, as far as integration goes, this goes from relationships that you have. There's a lot of black men that become celebrities, and they eventually go on to marry white women, European women. So what happens is, when has a wealthy white woman gone to the streets of the block to get Ray or man off the block and marry her? They'll never marry down. That's pretty much, you pretty much pillow talking with the enemy when you do that. There's no guarantee that when you marry them, when you die, where is your money gonna go? It's gonna go back to her mother country or his mother country.
Communities.
And even in the community, you will see a lot of brothers and some sisters with the significant other being a European or oppressive European, Asian, East Indian, Arab, what have you. And then also when you go to like gas stations and institutions, getting back to all of our life-sustaining institutions are controlled by Europeans that enslavement, not oppression. You can go in a community gas station, Harold's Chicken, any location in the inner city, or even sometimes the inner ring suburbia or the inner suburb, there'll be glass. Yeah. So you have to go in and slide on the glass. And then even at the Chinese restaurant, this happens to me on several different occasions. Chinese people will put the money on the counter. They don't want to touch you, you're dirty. But they take the money, also cultural appropriation, have dashikis in there, have the kufis in there, the weave. They have all these different things, the fake nails, whatever you need. It's a lack of us on the institution. We should be owning the hair business. Even looking at KFC, where did Colonel Sanders get the recipe for fried chicken? And even if you look at the newest modern KFC commercial, it shows instances of them being on the plantation. Like him in the field, and a wide variety of other things. But Brown versus the Board of Education is the precursor for what eventually becomes charter schools. So charter schools are happening because Europeans saying that black children were integrated into the schools. And they pulled their children from the schools to start their own school system. So the charter schools is a good documentary you should watch. Waiting for Superman. And a film that talks about the lottery. And the lottery, even if you live in a community You will not be able to go to school if you are not picked in the lottery. That's just like the NBA or NFL or any sports that we have our children involved in. The lottery, if you don't get picked, you have to wait a whole another year to get picked. When education should be happening inside the home. There should be no reason that it's happening. So one of my mentors, he has this thing called the connection village diagram, where he has kids, which are baby goats. So I'm gonna put children in there to make it African centered. Children, you got family, you got school, you got community. So, this is called the connection village diagram. I turned it into an African Centered model by placing children in the middle, because the original model has kids, which means kids and baby goats. And it is interesting, if you look at shows like Married with Children, based off the character album, European Family, then why is the black show called My Wife and Kids? Then you got Everybody Loves Raven, but everybody hates Chris. The family is the first example of where the child should be getting educated. In the home, homeschooling model should be happening, whether they're in public school, charter school, private school. The mother carries the child in the womb for 9 months. She's nurturing the child for this time period, but the child is hearing things. They're seeing and hearing different things. They hear how you talk to other black people or to them, but they hear how you are submissive to other oppressors. Then the school is the next model. So the European woman is no different than the missionary that goes into a place where people are African descent. We can use Africa. When the missionaries came in, Jomo Kenyatta said, they told them, close their eyes, I have a special gift. He said, when they opened their eyes, the Africans, they had the Bible, whatever religious book, and then the Europeans had the land. The European missionaries come in, you can even look at Birth of a Nation. And when that went into the house, his mother didn't want the wife, Turner's wife found out. I was like, oh, man can read? Oh, let's bring him in the house. And that goes to the shelf. She was like, no, your kind of your people won't understand what's going on in these books. They go to the Bible and they do the same thing in prison. Somebody told me the first book they handed one of my brothers was like, they handed him the Bible. So the school was set up like a prison. I go back to the academic auction block. Academic auction block. Principals, award teachers are the correction officers. The classroom is the cell block. SWAT is police or school security, and in-school suspension is solitary confinement. So it was an instance, I think it was in South Carolina, where it was a little sister that was going through a lot of personal things in home, and I found out that her guardian had passed, which I think was her grandmother, and she was going through a lot outside of school. This happens a lot in the community, where the educators aren't culturally relevant to our children. They don't understand our culture. They try to. They take our culture and think that they can understand it. They might recite a few hip-hop lyrics or something like that, but they can never understand it. But they bring in the black teacher, this Negro, brings in a white police officer. The girl does not want to get up. She doesn't want to be bothered. The police officer takes her, slams her, her leg is still caught in the and then he's like, putting his knee, he's doing all kinds of different things to her. And the black man is just standing there. There's another instance, I think in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, but there was a black boy that was resisting the authority of the teacher. What happens is the police officer knocks him down, the teacher helps him. When he hits him, his tooth, some of his teeth comes out. He's 14. But this happens all the time in schools where I see off-duty police officers talking to our children like an overseer. tell them like, yeah, you got no class, or get out the hallway, nigga. I seen this when I was at Morgan Park and other different schools. When I'm going in to parent-teacher conference for a parent that son is being placed in special ed without her permission. So when I walk in the office staff was so scared because they had never seen unapologetic black man there to support a woman. They was like, who are you, his father? Because I was like, that don't matter who I am. We here for a parent-teacher conference. Don't get scared. We just here to iron some things out, get the wrinkles out. I'm here with the starch, and then I got the iron with it. So we're gonna iron some things out. Community plays the last factor in the academic culture block. Because the community is a place where we have all these institutions that are socialized our children through a European lens or an oppressive lens. So what happens is, from a communal level, the family is supposed to be that first education in the child, in the school, in the community. But if the parents are a part of the same miseducation as their child is receiving, they're going to continue to miseducate the child, going home, not watching TV, watching shows like Scandal, Love and Hip Hop, reality TV, reality sitcom TV, How to Get Away with Murder. Now, I said this in the lecture I did not too long ago, Bamboozled, the modern day minstrel show. What Spike Lee was talking about in Bamboozled, this is like early 2000. He talks about shows what the minstrel show is. Having a blackface, red paint, but there's a character called Mantan, and he was the tap dancer. Then you had his boy Sleeping Eat. Sleeping Eat said, I can't hang no more, I can't deal with this no more, I'm out. But Mantan eventually, the story is sad at the end what eventually happens to him. But we have a lot of Mantan and Sleeping Eats in the community. So what happens is, Bamboozled is still a modern day minstrel show. If you look at reality TV, a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, this is reality TV. It's the real deal. It is scripted. Because why do you think other people that be on reality TV shows go on to get their own shows? It's the new thing, the new way is reality TV. And then it's a lot of children. When I lived in DC for 2 years. But I would ask them, where was they go? One of my students that was a girl, she was in 7th grade. She said, my goal is to be a basketball wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the young man that she was dating, he was like, Mom, I want to make it to the NBA. I was like, outside of that, what's your goal? Right. I was like, you got to have other options. I was like, what happens if you get injured? You got to have some other alternatives. Like, what do you like to do? So I started introducing them. I started introducing them to things that were interested them. And then it was so much of an issue. The teachers actually that was in the classroom with the city year. So city year is started AmeriCorps. Bill Clinton's city year founded in 1988. Two guys that did city year. I think they did like Teach for America or something like that. And they started City Year after that. So City is the first program of AmeriCorps. It's no longer a program of AmeriCorps, but I'm in the school with 6th to 8th graders, working with them. The teacher's not letting me interact with the students. So what I do, I sit in class and read. She's like, yeah, here go your corner. And you can read. I'm just sitting, she's not letting me interact with them, so I'm reading Revolutionary Suicide by Dr. Huey P. Newton. I'm reading Solidarity Brother, the prison letter of George Jackson. And then they start asking me, yeah, what you reading, Mr. Skates? I was like, oh, I'm reading this and that. I was like, can I read? No, this is what you can read. What you interested in? Oh, you're interested in being a doctor? Oh, before I knew before I knew Ben Carson was a sellout. I told him Ben Carson would be a good person. Dr. Vivian Thomas. and different things like that. So I'm introducing them to different people. For a young lady that wanted to start her own hair salon. I was like, look up Madam C.J. Walker. And I had another young lady who wanted to be a journalist. I said, look up Ida B. Wells, Barnett. So I'm introducing them to different people that they can aspire to be. And what happens is they try to move me from the classroom, and my program manager tells them they was trying to put me out of school. Because I couldn't do my intervention for a long time. I didn't get materials from the teacher. So the assistant principal, who's a Negro, come to sit in. He ends my intervention like 15, 30 minutes into it. He's like, we don't want our students learning this. But they were intrigued. There's a poem by Langston Hughes. I did a Claude McKay, and Paul was done for our poem. And they were actually interested and engaged. He was like, nah, you're throwing off our program. So we can't have you do this. So they tried to move from school. My program manager was like, honestly, he's not going anywhere. Because honestly, I'm gonna let you know how we do the city. We do a draft. He's like, honestly, when the draft happened, all different schools wanted me. He put his foot down. He's like, I'm taking him. And people was trying to trade 4 or 5 people for me. And he's like, no, I'm not just letting you get him. He's coming with me. So he's like, no, I'm not. And then he's like, I got a special project for you in January when we come back. So he made me attendance coach in the school. So I'm talking to students still engaging them. It was students that weren't on my caseload, but they were on European caseload. And basically, the students knew my name and I didn't even know them. And they said that their friends would come to with me during lunch. And another instance, the same instance, he had put gasoline all in the car. He's like, what she was saying? And she was like, no, I'm sorry. And she said he struck the match and threw it in the car. And it was a nice, expensive, like, top of the line car. But if you treat the youth this way, how do you think they're going to expect them that? If you brush them off, for instance, if you see somebody, you brush them off, later they're going to be like, all right, cool. When I see them coming out the bank or the currency exchange, I'm going to get it. Because you mistreated me, so they went and said they already messed up. Well, they already think you the opposition. You're not for them, so you either with them or against them. I think about the example of the movie Stay Proper. Benny Siegel character had his crew as an 8-year crew. I think all about the money. And then he was saying you either gonna get down or lay down. And I was telling somebody during the Cuban Revolution, a lot of people don't know Che was in medical school. He dropped out of school to pick up the gun. But Che in Cuba was an executioner for anybody that betrayed the revolution of the movement. I was telling somebody, we got to get back to a point where we got to code of conduct. If you're in violation, you need to be dealt with. That's all we need to call the police. No. We need to police our own. You need to understand if you disrespect a child, an elder, or a woman, that's a violation. Period. If you're in violation, you need to be dealt with. Like, period. It's a code of conduct. Somebody's like, oh no, we shouldn't do that. Yes, we should. Like,
Can always call the police because you don't know what to expect.
and then the streets had no structure because during the war on drugs, either a lot of the gang leadership was locked up or killed in the streets. And there was a protocol on the streets. You had to get the okay from the OGs on another set to go kill somebody or shoot at somebody. It's a code of conduct that happened. It's a respect factor. If you go do something in somebody else's area, even though we look at it as turf and we don't even own it, we killing each other over something that we don't own. We don't own the land. We don't own the streets. These are Rahm Emanuel streets. And he has his military, CPD, he has the National Guard, he has all those forces that come in. If they want to block off the inner city and make it a concentration camp, they can put an electrical fence with barbed wire around it. They have a police force already. They have the military. And the highways was created for in case something that they need to do martial law and the military tanks are coming in. I literally been on the bus on college, waiting on the bus. And I've seen the army right there. But I've seen like military vehicles rolling down the street. And I've seen military planes flying. in the sky. And you'll see it, but you're like, you're not even really paying attention.
Stealth plane. I'm talking $1 billion plane. One thing for $1 billion.
And think about this when other countries such as Haiti and places where people are African descent are, when they don't know that it's set up by the system, and then the same people that destroying you, eugenics, is bringing you the same food-like substance. And you're going to take the food. Like, recently I found out a couple years ago that a lot of rice isn't real rice. Or something like that. It's like plastic or something like that. But if the same person is miseducating and imposing the menticide on you, is the same person feeding you, how you're going to continue to be dependent on somebody. Not only that, they're giving you some kind of form of religion, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity. This made me think about the episode of Good Time, when JJ painted Ned the Wino, and I can't remember who put it on the wall. I think Michael put Ned, he took the white Jesus down and put Ned the Wino on the wall, and then Florida Evans was like, no, that is not my Jesus.
So that's who I know and love all these generations.
And then James was like, no, I like that one better.
On a hot street, baby.
But it was an emphasis. We need to start training our next generation of children that used to be like Michael Evans.
Yeah. Not exactly like
Not exactly like him, but to have that mindset to think for self.
Yeah.
Pastor Brandon, I have to go. I wanted to let you know that I appreciate the work and service.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Be careful, enjoy your weekend.
The idea of, we believe that integration was the thing that I was going to say what Dr. King said. I believe by integrating our people, he said burning house. Burning house being integration. And a lot of times, we don't teach our children the importance of military science. And understanding how to find basic things, how to use a hammer, nail, industrial skills. And swimming is another thing. We must teach our children to know how to swim. A strategy, a war strategy in military science is they have the Navy. In the Navy, they have their submarines and their ship, but they also have the Navy SEALs. Where they are going to come from the water with the Navy, the air with the Air Force. I'm not sure, the Army, then you got the Marines and the infantry, and they're coming. Why do you think in most wars that a lot of the U.S. soldiers was wiped out by children and youth? Because they were training them to be soldiers. And the Europeans are some of the most miseducated people on the face of the planet.
And what a lot of people don't know, like with these new police officers who got now CPD, a lot of people don't know that they're actually Iraqi and Afghanistan war veterans. And they hire them as soon as they come back home. Those are your trained killers right there.
As well as a lot of foreign officers.
Right. Don't even speak English.
Speak very poor English.
And there was an instance, I was walking down 47th Street one night. It was like 9 p.m. It was red tape up, yellow tape up. Somebody had got shot, but it was a lot of plain clothes police officers. Right. They was like, yeah, somebody got shot. And then I'm looking. I was like, why is there so many? I started critically thinking. I was like, the police probably did that. They was like, yeah, he had a gun. They said, oh, so-and-so, yeah, another crew had issues with him. But who's to say it wasn't a police officer undercover, but they had these masks now, these black masks, where you could put the mask on, and they had, Walmart had them for a little while. They pulled them off the shelf. But they have them now, they're wearing these masks, these black masks, and blaming them on other,
They're taking people's cars. some of the guys on the street. They're taking their cars,
Especially ones they
and
told
they're using those cars to do some of those crimes.
and especially with the black site, homeless square, where they taking people and torturing them. And some of them might not even see the light of day once they go in there. A lot of people have died in there, but they're electrocuting, torturing them, especially the brothers, sodomizing them, doing a wide variety of different things as far as torture to get convictions. And it was a judge in the South that just recently got convicted. I think he was doing something called Cash for Kids, where he was giving filling the jails.
He had some stake in a couple of private prisons, and he was filling them up, basically.
And I had never been familiar with like prisons or juvenile detention centers or RD homes until I was in high school. So it was a young man, they stole a bike and gave it to one of my good friends. And the police stopped him. He was like, yo, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I ain't steal this bike. And then a warrior that stole the bike walks up. He's like, oh, you again. This time I'm not taking you to juvie. I'm taking you to an RD home. He's like, man, bro, I'm not going to an RD home. So he punches the police officer in the face. The police officer slams him, body slamming him, punching him. Then when he get up, he had a bloody nose. I saw it. And then he was like, all right, I'm taking you to juvie. He said, I told you I want to go to the RD home. So the RD home is like basically like a home for juvenile delinquents. But it's open where they're living, but the same things that happen in juvie and in prison happens at an RD home. So when you go in there, you gotta fight.
It's known as gladiator school.
It's a different beast. And the same things that's happening in penitentiaries are happening in juvenile detention centers. So, the same behavior.
They had, when I worked there, they had space in the school that they technically said they was going to handle certain things. I mean, they've been sued about it since I've been since I'm 7. But it was a lot of stuff that, I never saw it, but I always heard of it. And you would see the charges come up, so something happened. It happened to say
Yeah, one of my mentors, he used to be a caseworker for DCFS. He said it was a young man he was counseling, and he said he wanted to leave his gang. I think it was like in Detroit. And the young man that wanted to leave was like 17, 14-year-old witnessed this. But the older guy was like 40. He's like, you want to leave the gang? Okay, he nodded his head, knocks him out cold with one punch, pulls his pants down and sodomizes him in front of the rest of the young men. He's like, if you want to leave, this was what's going to happen to you.
like the hospital practice, that's what they do is
And he was like, I was so traumatized that was my last case. He's like, I couldn't do it no more. And then they had this new thing in prison now that if you got beef with somebody, you jump them, you pull your pants down, and then you spit in their anus.
They doing that in the military now too.
What? This is a new thing.
Yeah.
And then we so messed up as a culture that now a lot of our sisters, like their groceries getting ate. This is the thing. And then the socialization for that. And then there's been instances, I'll share my own personal experiences, but there have been women, black women that have asked me, can they penetrate me? It's the culture. The culture, we taking on the oppressor's culture. The Yoruba culture.
Like, they normalize insanity.
It's so deeply embedded that subconsciously.
No, they normalize insanity, for real.
Culturally, economically, historically, politically, spiritually, and even sexually, we want to be exactly like them. And this is why I come up with the idea of closet Europeans. There are people that, in the forefront of the public, they will profess to be the sole pro-black person. I love my people. Wow, black power. If you understand one thing, black power is only an ideology. It's only a philosophy, no different than nonviolence. It's just a political philosophy. It's an ideology to get them into what you want. The third phase of black power is self-defense, if need. It's only a philosophy, but a lot of people think, I am black power. No, you're not, man. Because if we had black power, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. Stokely breaks it down. The conscious is supposed to teach and raise the awareness of the unconscious, but a lot of people preaching to the same choir. And I've said I wasn't going to touch on this, but a lot of people have been asking about Kwanzaa, which I call a Kwanzaa cook. Right? So the original founder of Kwanzaa is a woman, a black woman, an African woman. And she traveled to like 90-some cities pushing it. But those who don't know who Dr. Nkrumah is, I think his real name is Ron Everett. Well, he was Ron Kareem for a long time. Well, he's a professor at the University of California. I can't remember what university. But he created an organization called, I can't remember, but I call it the United Slaves Organization. But what happened is, Kwanzaa was founded the same year that the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was founded. October 15, 1966, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was co-founded by Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. Ironically, coincidentally, Kwanzaa was founded, according to history, American history, December 26, 1966. The face of it is Dr. Nkrumah. In the original photo of Kwanzaa, he uses a menorah, sticks, 2 white flags in it, and this is what he uses. And he has other Europeans and other oppressors in the photo with him. In January 17, 1969, the political assassination of Al Prentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins happens. Not only that same year, ironically, coincidentally, in quotations, Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. and Mark Clark get assassinated. These 4 brothers was to be the successors for the Black Panther Party leadership. Ironically, coincidentally, we had these cultural nationalists that said, oh, we need to let go and forgive Melange Pringle. Oh, let's forgive him for the torture and mutilation of our dark-skinned sisters. The torture, the sexual assault, and breaking bones of our sisters. Let's forget the fact that he helped assassinate some fellow brothers doing the work. And a wide variety of other things. And we had this idea of cultural nationalism, I call it shea butter nationalism. To these people, it's like, oh, I'm for the culture, I love my people, but you had a Kwanzaa event with Europeans. I've literally had walked into Kwanzaa events, and there were Europeans doing presentations. Literally. I don't want to be a part of that. And George Bush announced in 2004 on the White House website that Kwanzaa is an American holiday, a holiday for African American people. It's a good holiday. So December 26th through January 1st, this is Kwanzaa. Me, I practice Ngozi Saba. This is the African translation for Kwanzaa. Ngozi Saba, 7 principles. You're supposed to actually practice all 7 principles every day. If I'm practicing the 7 principles every single day. Why would I need to celebrate 1 week out of the year? So a lot of people dusting the cobwebs off of their dashikis and their crowns and their cookies. And there's a lot of cats that gotta understand, they love the idea, the philosophy of being Afrocentric or Afrocentricity, but why is it all majority of African American, Africana studies, and African studies program at predominantly white institutions that have a history of slavery? And you can't talk about
white professors.
and you can't talk about Milana Kareem, we're talking about Molefe K. Asante, the director of Temple University. These are boys. They're boys. They go hand in hand. Why does Milana Kareem always have sunglasses on? Why? Because he don't want you to see the nonsense or the BS that he feeding you. Milana,
Yeah, I was gonna say now, Karenga, he's currently the chair of African Studies at California State University, Long Beach, and Speaker of Asante. 2002, Molefe Kete Asante listed Karenga on his list of 100 greatest African Americans.
and he wrote a book on him.
Oh, wow.
He was like, yeah, I'm the only person that wrote a book on Milana Kareem. But when they did a video at the National Council of Black Studies, why would Asante, it's Asante video, but why do you have Karenga in your video? If it's about you, they boys, they go hand in hand. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. But a lot of people's like Afrocentricity. We're Afrocentric, but a lot of the Afrocentric cats that I know are really Eurocentric. So it comes out of European construct. You're either African centered or you're Afrocentric. Which one you want? I had somebody get mad at me. They was like, yeah, I'm Afrocentric, brother. I was like, yeah, obviously, because you celebrate Kwanzaa and you go to dinner on Thanksgiving and Xmas with your family. No, I'm not celebrating the holiday, but you still are celebrating. If we come together on this day, you're celebrating the holiday. I don't even, my family invite me all the time. They know I'm not coming. They still send a plate. But, you know, I'm not going. I don't want to celebrate because when I come in, you going to church? That's the first thing I get asked.
Right.
Rarely, it never came to any of my events that I do. Never talk about what I'm doing in the community or come support me. But the first thing they're asking me is, when you come back to church? So if I come back to church, you will give me the the economic support that I need. And they told me, if you would never left the church, we would support you economically. Really?
Wow.
I had a relative tell me that. I can't support what you do.
Go for one
When I was a
minute.
little kid, man, they put the pumpkin pie right there. This Thanksgiving. They put the chili right there. Like to get to that, you got to go through this. So I feel you on the support. Another thing, has anybody in this room ever read quote for quote what Moringa said he created Kwanzaa? I read that. It's pure. This entertainment.
It might be in the derailing.
Yeah,
it might be.
Nah, he said it was a New York Post interview.
Okay.
He was like, I created it not basically for the African aspect, because I knew black people wasn't going to come no other way. It has nothing to do with Africa. But it's an easy way to draw them in. Throw the bait. I told somebody, Europeans are like a shark in blood and water. If you get cut in the water, a shark could be minding his business. Swimming through the water, blood comes, goes up his nostrils. Human flesh, like Jaws. I smell blood, I'm going to get you. That's like cutting your child and throwing them in the water to the sharks, throwing them to the wolves, leaving them in the wilderness knowing that coyotes will get you. I told somebody, my experience in academia is like a lion fighting hyenas. Because hyenas come to pack. The Negroes are like hyenas. You're not one down, another one coming. And if you know how strong the jawbone of a hyena is, if it gets you, it's gonna get you. It's gonna destroy you. It's like going to the dentist. When you got a bad tooth, they use the, I can't remember off the top of my head, the Novocaine. The Novocaine, the dentist is the oppressor, and Novocaine is the mental side. They numbing you up and drugging you up so they can just feed you whatever they want you to feed you. It's like you get out. You're in a sunken place. And a lot of people don't know. They're just like, yeah, what's your thoughts on drug here? I said, Get Out is a great movie. But you know he's married to a European. I was like, that don't bother me because I know his mother's white. So he's going to go where he's accustomed to. He's going to go to what he's accustomed to. Yeah. It's a wide variety of people that go, oh, you don't like white people? No, I don't. I don't like any form of oppression. There's been plenty of times where white women have tried to date me. I was like, I'm not doing it. It's not for me. Go get so-and-so. He like that type of stuff. I'm not into that. I'm really not. And then it's a lot of sisters that be posing like they so Afrikan centered. Right. And then they be like, I still believe Black Lives Matter. I said, you really an undercover feminist. It's like, no, I'm not. I was like, do you know the history of feminism? Do you understand it? No, do you know who Margaret Sanger is? Yeah, I know who Margaret Sanger is. No, we don't like her. I was like, she was a feminist though. She was a feminist. And in the 70s, the 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, during the civil rights movement, they added the cultural aspect. When the war on poverty happened, in order for you to get your welfare, like your food stamps, the black man couldn't be present in the home. So where's that black man going to go? Through socialization, just no different than the plantation and sex farms. He's going to go to his next family home. That's where he's going to go. But through the socialization process, we're socialized to believe that anything that they put in front of us, that we should gravitate towards. And I have to check myself, because I've been trained, I'm a pledge of allegiance, baby. But I have to check myself a lot of times. But I catch myself 5 days of the week in public school, pledge of allegiance. Programming of the black family, we're doing some kind of form of religion, so you might be going to church 7 days a week. Not only that, the only day that they leave for is more socialization for sports, which is Saturday. Then you're going back to church on Sunday. There's a lot of Negroes that think green, live white, and have this profession that they're black. They think it's green though, conscious for capital, conscious for cash. What I call conscious capitalism. They know what they're doing. And psychologically, we was like, I'm finna get them. A lot of these full-time lecturers are no different than the pastors. Charging $20 at the door. You got vendors in the building selling the oil, selling the incense, a wide variety of different things. Then you go in the community, we so socialized. Me and my brother first, he just walked in. There was a situation, we was on the 9 or 79. We was talking to a sister. He's like, we love you, sister. You're not my sister. You're not my brother. He's like, I still love you, sister. And then, once you had $1, she was like, I get the $1. I was like, I'm not your brother, though.
Absolutely.
But I had these conversations when I'm on the streets with people just to pick their brain and see what they're thinking. Like, I've done a lot of programs with different people that say they support me, but have yet to come support what I'm doing. I'm doing work. I don't never charge. This is a free lecture. The people that's supposed to be here showed up. But I want to give you the information and tell you go seek and use the information for yourself. Go do the research. Don't put me up so much on the pedestal because I'm human too. I'll make mistakes, but I'm doing the best that I can. And so I don't want to be put in a box. Like, I'm just Xolani Yaaba. Brandon with my sketches. For those who know me before this. That is my earth name. But I don't want people to put me in a box and be like, oh, he said he was going to do it. I am doing the work. I can only do so much on my own though.
Absolutely.
If for instance, if a child, even at an African Centered school, I could teach a child so much. But if he's going home and being re-socialized through that lens, that cuts out more work for me to do. And it's like, for instance, one of the first images that the child sees as European is the pamper box, the Quaker Oats, the cereal box, the imagery of the white archetype savior, and what's going on TV. And they hear how the parents, the mothers, the fathers talk to other people. You said, yes, sir, no ma'am to them, but you call me nigga. So the socialization process is like, maybe I am nigga. And why do you think they call the big bedroom in the house master bedroom? Anytime master want somebody coming in, whether it's a boy, a woman, or a girl to come in there, you gotta go. Even his slave. We want her. I know you serving us, but yeah, send her in when you go back to your quarters. And even the inner city, the projects are designed no different than the slave quarters. Then you got the police, that's the slave patrol. Then you got the school where the woman is miseducating our children and youth, sending them straight to their husband. Through the 4th grade failure syndrome, being seasoned on academic ulcer block, most children know by the time they reach 6th grade, they want to drop out of school by the time they're 11, 12 years old. So when they get to 10th grade, I have seen, and when I was in special ed, I've seen white women, European women, and rude social workers telling me, yeah, you should drop out of school. It ain't doing you no good anyway. If you drop out of school, why don't you go join the military? But they only give them 2 options, and they're already adjusted to submissive, but black criminality, we're already criminalized as African or black people from birth, just because of our skin complexion. Not only that, why is it that we so gangster with our own people, we kill our own, but when the police come, here you go, sir, here go my weapon, and then submit, yes, sir. Say, y'all, send me before the judge. You got 20 years. You just got 10 years just because you're black. And now you're working as a slave. You're working for minimum wage, pennies on the dollar. And if you don't meet your quota for the amount of money you make, if you get out, they say, oh, we let him out too early. He owed us some money. Go get it. Go fetch it. Go fetch that slave. Bring him back to the plantation. And think about this. We live on a plantation. Our homes are no different than a prison cell. We shower, we eat, then we go inside our room. To our quarters. We get up, we do the same thing again. Then we get in the game ring on us where we play checkers on the chessboard. You got the knight coming in the L shape. The pawn is just a distraction. And the queen, she's just making moves all across the board. And the king just sitting back, watching. Why do you think, if you look at propaganda, why on the chessboard the pieces are black and white? is war. We gotta teach warriorhood to our children. The key word in warrior is war. We gotta train for war. I'm training. I'm at war in general. I'm teaching my students to be soldiers. So if anything happened to me, whether it's political imprisonment or political assassination, those soldiers gonna pick that spear up and they gonna keep going. The brigade, I'm training somebody up under me. Take over the ranks, and I can just sit back. I'm a distraction to the enemy. I'm a good negotiator. I'm talking to them. Him and the soldiers distracted by me, they're ready to make a move. They be like, hold on. My soldiers coming from behind to flank them. And then as soon as my soldiers come, I'm cutting his head off as soon as he turns his head. Straight up. The plan of attack is we need to teach warriorhood. Warriorhood not only in the classroom, in the community, and in the household. We need the black men or African men are leaders in the home. They are teachers. My role in the classroom, I cannot count how many times I have been called Baba or Father by children. And it breaks my heart. I have to explain to them that I'm not your biological father, but I can serve as that father figure to teach you different things. I can teach a young man how to tie. I can teach him how to use a saw. I can teach him how to paint. I can teach them a wide variety of other things. I can even teach them how to use a knife and a gun too. This is some things that we need to learn. When we in the field doing work, and I'm in the field doing research, I'm talking to these shorties. It was a situation, man. Me first, my brother True from Detroit, we was on the 9. We was talking. It was a young man that came up, had his gun ready. It was an automatic too. And then he know first. He's like, oh, brother, first, what's up, bro? He's like, oh, I didn't know who y'all was. I was getting ready to air y'all out. But it's been situations where I've seen somebody had a gun to somebody here. I went up and talked little brother down. And he was like, all right, man, it's wartime. And during the Vietnam War, think about when the U.S. soldiers was over there. They went into enemy territory. The Vietnamese had the upper hand. They built underground tunnels, and when the U.S. soldiers were walking, they would grab them in the underground tunnels. And actually, Vietnamese won the war, but they're not going to say that. Even the Haitian Revolution. This is why Toussaint Overture and a lot of the other Haitians licked them Europeans up. Napoleon was hot. He was hot. They was using voodoo. They was poisoning them in their food. And then the Negroes, they was getting rid of the Negroes too. And a lot of people, the biracial and multiracial Haitians, the French generals threw a party for the biracial, multiracial wives of these Haitians. They was like, oh, the party over there, gift for you. They handed them a box with their husband heads in it. And they said, you yellow niggas are no different than the rest of them. And this brought unity amongst the multiracial and biracial and the mulattoes and the other Africans. I was telling somebody, I'm not saying I'm against all mulattoes or biracial, multiracial Africans, but I've had terrible experiences with the ones that I know. But I know some that go harder than, they go hard, that will bust your head wide open with no issue. And then I know some Africans that be like, yo, brother, we gotta love our brothers and sisters. We're all human. We're all human. We gotta love one another. Please, brother, please let this person come. No, man. I've come to meetings where I come to the table and I was doing an event and somebody I know passed my flights to the European. I was like, no, you know what? You can't come. It's not for you. This is for my people. This is a safe space for us. No offense to you.
Yeah.
You want to offer your help? Take it up with your people.
Right.
Get their hair.
And then we got to touch. I got to touch on these scholars, these Yoruba scholars, 10 Wise and Jane Elliott. People, oh, we love 10 Wise and Jane Elliott. They speaking up and going against their own. That's what they supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do. But 10 Wise was banging on Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, saying her book, the ISIS paper, was pseudo. Jane Elliott is a former educator. Did you research her history of what she was doing in the classroom, or why she's not teaching anymore?
What she did in the 60s.
Exactly. What she was doing in the system. Not only that, she's a gay rights activist, and she's a feminist. So, you mean to tell me, you don't want to side with somebody like me that's African Centered. You don't want to have me on your platform and come talk to your leader. But you would rather have Jane Elliott come on your radio show or your YouTube platform before me. I'm not offended. Kudos, congratulations. Thank you for contributing to more of the mental side of miseducation.
Her water is colder than yours, man. Her water is colder than yours.
Yeah.
Yours too
Yeah,
warm.
ice.
Her water is colder from is it the black ice? Was it, or the,
Clark Anderson.
No, Dr. Wilson. White man's water is colder.
Yeah.
So that's, her water is colder than yours.
yeah, they got the, I think it's called black ice.
I mean, it's probably something.
Black ice is, you put it in the cool, but it's hot. If you touch it,
Oh, yeah, dry ice.
the dry ice.
Yeah.
Europeans have dry ice.
Yeah.
The drinks are cold, but if you touch it,
It'll burn you,
you're gonna get burned. Second degree, third degree burns.
That's a good matter.
I was telling somebody, we might as well bring out the color only signs and put them back in the windows. I think about in the movie Life when Ray and Claude went to the restaurant. And Ray was like, Claude, man, we don't need to be going there. You see what's around, man. Claude was like, no, man. He's like, can I get some pie? Hey, Billy, can I get some pie? He's like, how do you know my name is Billy? He said, say it right there on the shirt. And then she was like, if your boys could read so good, how come you miss the silent door? And Ray was like, Claude, how come we miss that white only sign? He's like, was really hungry? I'm sorry, we're gonna go. He's like, no, man. He's like, wasn't that time? He's like, she was like 35 miles. Claude was like, I'm not driving no 35 miles to get no pie. Lady, man, we want some pie. We are hungry. He's like, Billy, we want some pie. He's like, Ray was like, why somebody got to die with some pie? I was like, I'm Ray Gibson, I'm from New York. How much it cost to turn white on pie to nigga pie? He's like, how about I turn y'all to nigga pie? It's like 35 miles. He's like, we know your white country folks are so serious about pie. But we might as well go back to that. If we dealing with it, it's directly in our face, but due to the laws, the Supreme Court justice is like, we can end this integration thing, and we can do another one. These jokers.
Like, look like we never recovered from, I had the elders say, when they were doing the marches for civil rights, how they would bypass the black stores to go for the right instead of the white store. So if you think about it, we haven't really owned nothing since those days, because now we filter our money in today, they ain't coming. You know what I'm saying? So our disposable income goes, you know, they get whatever 100% they got, 'cause they ain't buying them with us. And so we give them the stuff that we got, actually, we gonna take it to them. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, that thinking, I never thought about it like that. You gonna pass your people's store to go to the white store.
H&M.
You know, what are they gonna do? You know, they birthday.
Then when we come,
You know, they always want to just.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to do a brief intermission. When we come back, I want to talk about the March on Washington, the Civil Rights Movement, and currently Black Lives Matter, the NAACP. So we're going to take a brief intermission. So now that we're back, I will touch on one of my favorite subjects is political science. I'll break down, go back into Brown versus Board of Education, the Emmett Till lynching, wide variety. So, 1954, Brown versus Board of Education. It's a precursor to, a lot of different things. So, I'll say even to the Civil Rights Movement. The 1955 bus boycott originally started by Claudette Colvin, 14-year-old African teenager that was pregnant. She can't make it to the back of the bus. She sits down in front, she gets arrested due to her skin complexion. The white elites that fund the civil rights, the liberal elitists, the political people, choose Rosa Parks because she's already a member of the NAACP.
And Boulay.
That's it. But the history of the NAACP, I had an acronym before, I'm always coming up with an acronym. But one of the first ones like Negroes, of course. It's like Negroes, accommodation. Achievement. That's the latest acronym I have for the NAACP. Negroes Accommodation Achievement Colonized Program. W.E.B. Du Bois, a known, I'll say, father of what the Boule is, 75 Pi. Him and a guy by the name of William Monroe Trotter, who's a realtor and has his own magazine, the Boston Guardian, has the biggest. William Monroe Trotter, the biggest rival to Booker T. Washington, because he felt Booker T. Washington was a sellout and he didn't like what he was doing, so he took his money and he would show up at every city that Booker T. Washington was in, and he would protest Booker T. Washington. He would spend a lot of time in jail. He ends up going broke, and he seeks Du Bois for money help. He was struggling economically due to his issues. His wife leaves him. The Niagara movement is the precursor in Canada. The Niagara movement, where there were black people that was working. Then William Monroe Trotter was a pro-black brother. He walks in the room. There's a European woman named Mary Overton. And Du Bois was like, yeah, she gonna help us. We want to move in. And Trotter's like, I can't get with this. I'm out. Peace. Ida Du Bois is there for a little while. She gets ousted because she speaks up. She's a member of the Lynx, which is the woman version of the Boule. But Du Bois gets the NAACP, one of the founder charter members, but he wanted the Crisis magazine, and he still wanted to keep his job at, I think, Atlanta University at the time. And he still wanted to do the scholarship work, his activism work, but his magazine he wanted to be the editor of the Crisis magazine for the promotion and push the scholarship out. Then they have this thing promoting that a black man was lynched yesterday. But then a lot of people think it's black people that's promoting this, but it's really Europeans promoting it, behind it, pulling the string. I was like, this is just like a puppet.
Yeah.
The puppet master. We are black people are the puppets. If we dead, we sleep. And then European yanks our arm up, pulls us up. Then our head is still down. Then they yank our head up and pulls our eyes open, and they get us to do whatever we want. Du Bois is the puppet for the people funding the NAACP. Not only that, he is the reason why Marcus Mosiah Garvey was set up for, I think it was like mail fraud with the boats, with the Black Star Line. he pays the cash. Marcus Garvey eventually has to spend like some time in Atlanta in jail. And then he died, I think, in the UK. He never makes it to Liberia like he originally planned.
Yeah, he never came back to the United States.
He never came back. He said he died of a broken heart.
Someone said that.
He looked to Booker T. He structured the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community Leagues off the model of Booker T was doing at Tuskegee. That's very monumental. We need to stop saying Booker T was a sellout. He was only using what was at his disposal. Booker T was housing runaway slaves, and he was housing black revolutionaries that was on the run. Not only that, he was doing anything with industrial trade.
Right.
Industry and trade. Not only that, he brings Dr. Carver, George Washington Carver down to Tuskegee. Not only that, a lot of people don't know, Du Bois was a student of Booker T. Washington, spent time at his house, lived with him. Booker T was like a father to him, and then he betrayed Booker T. Washington's trust, and Booker T had some hitters on his team where Du Bois was banging on him, but Booker T controlled all the black newspapers. So his people put stuff out about exposing W.E.B. Du Bois and his ways. So come to Black Lives Matter, BLM. People upset. Black liberal. Black liberal movement is funded by George Soros. The idea is we have this black queer feminist lens, which, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that should be on a personal level. Whatever your belief is, don't bring it into it. We don't fight for your blackness or being African, more whatever thing you feel you identify with as a black person or a melanated person. Because to my knowledge, I might be wrong, but when the Klan is, or a white mob is putting a noose around your neck, they're not gonna ask, brother, are you Christian? Are you Moral? Are you Muslim?
Right.
Are you Buddhist? Are you atheist? They're not gonna ask you.
What kind of nigga?
Oh, that was good. Oh my goodness, that was good. I forgot. Oh man, we're gonna change black to boule. Those who aren't familiar with the boule is 75 pi. I'll share my experience, my first experience. One of my brothers is a here that went to West Illinois University. We have a professor that we had. He's a Negro, choir director, Christian. So I'm going through the history book in the department. It's like a binder. And I see 75 pi, 1904. This is when I found it. I was like, I closed it and opened back up there. So I was like, I know I'm not saying it. I was like, man, I thought the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was the first black fraternity. Black Greek fraternity. So I was like, Doc, man, something. I thought, I was sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I was like, why is 75 pi black and white in 1904? He tells me, don't ask questions you won't know the answers to. I says, obviously I'm asking you a question. So I go digging, it's like 2010, 2011. I'm like, I type in 75 pi. Steve Cokie name pop up. I said, whoa. So I go and watch some of his lectures, and I'm bombarded with so much information. I had to cut it off like 2 minutes into it. I said, I gotta go back and watch this later. What is the boule? And I start looking and researching. I'm like, man, I've been lied to this whole time. Like, I had no idea what the boule was, but then I started seeing signs of it on campus with the black Greek leadership on campus. I'm like, And then they was like, yeah, you don't got the plug like me. You're not green.
Never will.
And I'm like, what? I was like, that's cool. Me, that's fine. Then I get to the Warrior Center for Inner City Studies. A lot of people gonna be upset about this, but Steve Coakley, these are not what I said. He said that members wanted him to stop focusing on the boule. Leave them be.
Right.
I won't name names, you could go look up the Coakley tape. But there was some people that told me that they had this thing called ASCAP. What is it? I can't remember the acronym. African, some civilization.
African.
It's like a
Study of classical African civilization.
yeah. It was a conference. I got in.
Yeah.
There was somebody, an older sister. We all know her. Those who are familiar with the Center for Inner City Studies, Warrior Center. She tells me
She was in the military too.
I'm arrogant,
Yep.
that I do not need to be talking about new Negroes. It denies me for the conference. She said, you have to change the language in your abstract. I said, that's something I'm not going to do. And she was like, oh, I heard you call yourself a math teacher. I said, I never called myself that. But the students, the undergraduate students, asked me, are you going to become a professor here after you graduate with your master's? I was like, that's something you got to ask the staff here. And she was like, you're right. Let's not talk about the fact that y'all denied me for the grad assistantship 6 times. Let's not talk about how y'all gave it to somebody that wasn't here, that's not qualified, that don't even know how to do the work, coming to me for help. Let's not talk about
Oh, actually, who was it?
how the staff wanted me in when they was picking a new director. They wanted me and Manny in on the meeting with the faculty. Not only that, y'all consulted me for classes, or what classes to add. So I should be the grad assistantship. But don't worry, I'll just light a fire to you in my work. Don't worry, you're not going to escape the flames. You can't. Like, I was like, I know for a fact that y'all was scared of Steve Coakley.
Yeah.
Not only that, when the professors try to question you on stuff and then I expose them in class with the other students, that's not my fault. You can't answer no more questions. I ask you no more questions. Okay, but it's not my fault when nobody answers the question. When y'all ask the questions, who do they look to? Right. Everybody in the class look at me. So, that's not my fault that y'all boule Negroes try to recruit me again. And I told y'all no. Now y'all mad. Now you want to deny me. Now you want to deny me for Cornell. After I put in all the work. Matter of fact, I know for a fact the brother wrote a bad recommendation for me. Because he told me that if you do this lecture, that your academic career is over. That I'm putting flyers in the school and y'all pulling my flyers down and throwing them away. You know how I know? Because students came and gave me all my flyers you threw away.
Well, that's like when I tried to do that recommendation line for the Paul.
They wouldn't let me. The Paul denied me. It wouldn't let certain people do recommendations for me for my last recommendation. They said, you're throwing off the program. They said, we can't, somebody was asking me, it was crazy, I had a teacher, she made at Western Illinois University. She was like, you have to write a paper talking about if you were a slave, this is a black professor, what kind of slave would you be? I was like, okay. I like where this is going. So in my paper, I wrote, I'll be a field Negro that would be the conductor on the Underground Railroad. That if I get captured again, I would orchestrate a Nat Turner like rebellion.
Right.
and we're going to destroy the plantation. Not only that, I got people that speak, I don't speak in African language, but I got other slaves that's doing a call to other plantations to let them know that we coming. That's what I would be in. And yeah, they might try to catch me and cut my throat, but they gonna have a hard time with me. Because I'm already trained in hand-to-hand combat. I'm studying master. I got the Negro overseer, I think it's the Negro, he's actually working with me, telling me the whole plan. And she gave me a seat on paper. But, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement was funded by Warrior Soros.
She was telling her identity. Cool.
George Soros, who funded it. So Black Lives Matter is funded by George Soros. So Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, they were running for presidential campaign. Black Lives Matter decides to interrupt Bernie Sanders. You can find the video online. They interrupt Bernie Sanders, cut him off, but they sit down at the table with Hillary Clinton. My bad, Hillary Clinton. But they sit down, rest in power to Darren Seals. He exposed a lot of what was going on down in Ferguson. He ends up getting killed, assassinated. A lot of the Ferguson activists, but Darren Seals keeps getting harassed by police. They kill him, they shoot him up in his car, and then they light the car on fire while he was in the car.
He stole his movie.
DeRay McPherson comes to Ferguson. DeRay gets slapped in the face by Darren Seals. And he told him he can't come to Ferguson no more. Come to find out, let's discuss DeRay McPherson. Get mad if you want. DeRay McPherson comes from Teach for America in Baltimore. He's getting funded and his thing is paid for. He's a part of the LGBTQ community, pedosexual. And the other sister, Johnetta, that be with him. So these are the people that put as the favorite. There will always be strategically placed Negroes. What Dr. Conrad Royal said, you could buy a Negro for a nickel. Negro sell out for a nickel. And a lot of black people don't know, we got people in Chicago. Here we go again. Why you doing this, Xolani? J. Green, Lamar Report.
Be quiet.
Who else? I gotta do with T.O. Hardeman.
And what about the other brother?
Andrew Holmes that worked for the FBI.
The other dark skin cat. Oh my goodness, he's always popping up.
Jedediah, Fast Jedi. Fast Jedi. Who else? The sister, I think her name is Aletta Clark. In Inglewood, no hugs, no slugs. She was just recently in a photo with Eddie Johnson. Who else? She took a knee with 2 Chicago police officers.
Okay.
Was she? Aletta Clark, I think that's her name. No hugs, no slugs. She's always on the news. So you have to start questioning Andrew Holmes, T.O. Hardeman, Fast Jedi, Lamar Court, J. Green used to work for the mayor. Paid activists.
Actors.
Why are they appearing on these CNN or MSNBC? Chicago special.
You gonna name
Chance to Rap with Common. The Shy is a great show, by the way. But we need to understand, I call them the Chicago Big Six. Like how Malcolm exposed Big Six during the Civil Rights Movement. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. John Lewis, Andrew Young, it wasn't Andrew. Andrew Young was, I think Andrew Young was part of it. Yeah. Whitney Young, the school was named after the Chicago social worker. What was the other two? Vernon Jordan, maybe?
Yeah.
And it was somebody else, it was 6
That was George Dad.
But these people that were head of the civil rights organization, the NAACP, the National Urban League, I can't recall. But it was in Malcolm's speech, his lecture message to the grassroots.
And I think they were Boulay also.
Most of them are.
Yeah.
But it's a lot wide variety of people that's politically inclined. I come from the acting. I'm the activist world. I'm not an activist. But when these people see me, they know, uh-oh, here comes trouble. They run the other way, they go hide behind the police. I could expose some organizations, I'll say that for a later date, because a lot of people get in their feelings about it. But it's very important we understand we have to be African centered, and I'm not talking about just necessarily teaching African centered education inside the school. We teach it in the home, not only in school, in the community. Not only we have an issue with mental health in our community.
Yes.
That's what everything boils down to.
So,
We don't think within our mind, because we can train other people. So a lot of us, we're not ourselves.
Out of the natural mind.
there's an undiagnosed mental illness. We have Willie Lynch all in DNA at this point. He was like, oh my goodness, man, brother, you call it divisiveness. Willie Lynch is not a real person. It don't matter, the program. He said this was in the 1700s. He said this will work for 300 years. Just read it.
Right.
Our distrust is stronger than trust.
He said that. He was like, put the man against the woman. The dark skin versus the light skin.
Yes, sir.
Young versus the old. Then he said, you take the strongest, most restless
My son know that speech.
slave.
My son know that speech.
You bull whip him, tar and fat to an inch of his life to make him think that you are in a God-like image. Tar and feather him. Tie him to 2 ends of the horses, whip both ends of the horses till you tear them apart. If you know how hard horses kick, if you know how hot tar gets, if it's in the close vicinity, they would strip him, rip him in front of the women, the children, and the elders.
Death by quarters, that's what they call it.
Then what happens? The mother steps in front to protect the son.
Right.
And this is no different than what it is. My mother raised me, told me at 10, I asked my mother this. I was like at 10 years old, I asked my mother how to be a man. She said, something I can't do is teach you how to be a man. That's something you're going to have to learn on your own. It's been tough for me, not having my father in my life, but I take what I do in my work to pour into our children and youth, which is very important to me. Serve as a father figure or that role model they don't have at home. There's been times people's like, oh, you crazy for trying to break up a fight. When I see the police and stuff like that, and I can stop and interject and intervene in a situation, why not? It's like you could get shot, so I could get shot by the police or anybody else. I would rather go and advocate for one of y'all going to the morgue and one of y'all is going to the prison system. And we always talk about mass incarceration, but we never talk about the school prison pipeline. If a child started going to school at an early age, going to jail or prison, they're socialized when they get to a certain age, when they get to 16, and they're like, oh, I could drop out of school without my parents' permission, and my mom and daddy not there taking care of me anyway. I'm the sole provider for my brothers and sisters. Hey man, let me go get this work in the street. Let me go get some money. It's either that or the military. It's like, and the philosophy of our children is they're already socialized through special education off the drugs that they're given. So it's easier to transition to a drug on the street. You're already numb to what's going on anyway. And there's been times where I know people I don't know who come to school high and drunk all the time. And I wasn't understanding to what their situation was at home. They could have had some of their family involved, pressure from their family. Or it could be something such as they're being molested by a relative or somebody in the church. or somebody in the community center, somebody that's a coach. There's many different angles that's hitting them, and they was like, yo, the adults don't care about me.
Facts.
My parents don't care about me. But the streets showing me love.
Hurt people hurt people. So that's what's.
I got a bro right now, he live in Dallas. He's like, bro, he's like, I love you, but man, getting a 9 to 5, man. I'm tired of the racism. I'm tired of that man that won't be on my back. I'd rather go back to the street. At least I'm working for myself. At least I'm teaching the shorties. I'm in the community, really influencing them. And if I see one of my shorties not in school, I tell them, why you not in school? Get to school. And he was like, do you know I'm putting my shorties, the ones that run the streets, I'm putting one in medical school. I got one in law school right now. I'm teaching them these different things as a man, even though it's not the right way to go, but this is all I know. My daddy was a gangster. My uncle was a gangster. My brothers was gangsters. When all 3 of my brothers got killed, that's what drove me to the streets.
Wow.
And he was like, yo, I'm not going to the military. I know that ain't a place for a black man. He said, I seen boys in the hood. He said, I know that ain't a place for a black man. I don't want to deal with that. I can't deal, I'm dealing with all this stuff at home and nobody cares. But if I go and shoot a white person in the head, then people will care. Or if I kill one of my own, they won't care. But if I go rob a white lady, then people gonna care and say, oh, I'm being disrespectful. I'm a threat to society.
Menace to society.
Good point. Menace to society breaks down a lot of that different stuff. Even movies like Paid in Full.
Yeah.
Like the character Ace. Ace wasn't even a street dude. He was a calm, laid back dude. But he was like, yo, man, I can't keep working for pennies and nickels, man.
Working in the clinics, yeah.
And then the person he was dropping delivery off left something like some cocaine in his pocket. He's like, what am I gonna do with this? He was like, sell it. And then he said he made that quick 100. He's like, man, nah, I got more of the standard, but you know, I gotta be able to provide for my family.
Talk to you.
But it showed a different aspect of like the streets, but then it showed 3 different brothers that came from different backgrounds. Rico was a snake.
Right.
Mitch was trying to provide a better opportunity for his brother. And then Ace was just friends with Mitch. But Mitch was like, yo, I'm vouching for his brother. He a good brother. He looked out for me while I was in the joint. When he come out, he snaked his mans. He was like, man, like, but it's a lot of that come around. So many people like, yo, I know his brother. And then I interact with him, like, man, dude, the snake. And I be telling people, a lot of activists that I know that have gotten politically in prison, I'm telling them, like, oh, don't mess with him. Like, he ain't nothing but trouble. And we got to talk about COINTELPRO and counter-agency, because there's a lot of people rocking the web, and really, they be cultural nationalists rocking the dashiki, but they're working on behalf of the system. And it's like, we got to get this brother off the streets. We can't have him teaching these black people. The fear of the black society, fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear. There's some other ones too I heard, but that was the one that stuck out to me. Well, fear. False evidence appearing real. And they put the fear of, if you speak out, they'll kill you. If you speak out, they'll lock you up. So if we're already on the plantation in prison, it's a risk every single day that I could go to jail and be killed. Why sit down and take it? That's just like, the old boy got his boot on your neck. And then he lets you off forever. And then you just sit there and take it. You're not planning something like, yo, cool, I'm gonna get him eventually. In the back of your mind, you just waiting for the right time. And then eventually, you go into somebody that's taught you subconsciously to think like them, eat the food they give you. And they poison you. Shower, take a bath. They give you time to take a bath. They give you a bedtime. If you're out on the streets, it's a curfew. You can't be outside at a certain time. Well, you go to jail. Matter of fact, we're not going to tell your parents we got you down there. But you know your parents are going to be worried about you. It's best to be in the house before the street lights go off. There's been times I would go out my home. CPD would be sitting outside my house. I would come back home. They're sitting outside my home. I try to go through the back door. They're sitting in the alley. I was like, man, can I catch a break? Then I come home, I'm walking. University of Chicago police drive past me. I was like, I know they finna bust it. They busted U-turn, they followed me. I was like, hi. What do you want? Like, I'm not doing that. It's like, we just trying to make sure you live in the area. I said, yeah, I know. I know. It's okay. It's all right. I know you're doing a job. I know that your police force is getting funded by the Rockefeller family. Oh, she was black. That's all you know. I know that. Did you? Yeah, the Rockefeller funds you.
The House of Rockefeller.
I know Rockefeller got a pension in one of several of the buildings. I know that y'all security system, at a certain point, y'all have security. Y'all system shut down from the computer. I said, you know a computer could be hacked, right? And then she drove off. And we have to start teaching. Camping is very important. Skill to learn. It teaches survival skills. Knowing how to make a fire. Knowing how to put up a tent. Knowing how to use a knife. You could always, in military science and military warfare, make your own weapons. A brick or rock could be a weapon. Somebody's like, what about guns? I said, you know guns jam, And a gun could be taken from somebody. If you underestimate somebody, but I was like, a knife is more swifter than a gun. The Chinese military teach their women how to knife. Fencing is something that should be learned too, and martial arts. Self-defense, learn how to defend yourself is very important. So we're teaching our children, obey, master, and oppressor. And then the police just put their knee in their back. Being pulled over for the first time, me and my friend got pulled over when I was 15 on Halloween. We were going to a party. Police officer pulls up, black police officer, calls us niggas, all type of things out there, cursing us out. Pulls a gun, tells us to get out the car and get face down on the pavement. And Hyde Park. He waits on his partner. Come back, eventually let us go. They tell us to go on about our way. This same black police officer is still around the community, still harassing. He still harasses a lot of my friends to this day. The same one. What his name? I don't know his name. I can't recall. I get it from one of my companies. But I remember his face like it was yesterday. Cause I was in the back. But as soon as we tried to pull off, he pulled up and had his gun like this. He was like, if any one of y'all move, I'm shooting everybody in the car. And then the person that was driving is real fidgety. We was like, Nate, do not move, bro. Because this will be the end for all of us. Stand still. But so then they pull us out, and then this same police officer will keep harassing. They never harass me because I will always be looking over my shoulder. Even when I see CPD, you will see police. One time I was walking on 53rd Street, and you will see police officers hopped out on me. And then they was trying to grab me and put me in cuffs. I was like, y'all ain't got nothing to really hold me on, or am I being detained to let go? I was like, I'm not even doing nothing. I'm not out here committing no crime, I'm not doing none of that. So for y'all to grab me, when you know that's a lawsuit, like, on your hands. I was like, I don't know if you know, I got a lawyer, so that's the first person I'm gonna call. When you lock me up, I'm sure you probably, it's like, you have a lawyer? I was like, yes, I do. And I know the law, I can represent myself. I don't need a public defender to represent me in court. I can represent. And you see the people over there, they're my boys. So, because they was coming over, I was like, nah. I was like, Dad, I'll watch you. I was like, we bound to run into each other again some other time. But why are you harassing me when there's other people out here wrecking havoc? You on 53rd, but there's people on the lower end wrecking havoc that know they can't cross that line, that boundary, past Drexel and 51st. The bullets stop and do a U-turn. Right back into the gun. You can't shoot because they know it's a consequence. For the actions, there's consequences, positive consequences, there's negative consequences. So, when I'm talking to you, folks, like, little brother, think about this. I know you're angry. Somebody at the job made you mad. Somebody might look at a brother the wrong way. He might kill him based off of the oppression that he's receiving at the job, the pressure he's receiving from home. When he walk out the door, the next person that bump into him, it might be an accident. He was like, oh, my bad. Then he ended up shooting somebody off anger, emotions. Never let your emotion cloud your better judgment, because you're going to make a lot of brothers and sisters that end up in jail are probably never ran the streets or anything like that, but it was a situation in their life that caused them to respond in that manner, being angry. As a black person, you should be angry. Being here in North America, in the West, you should be angry. You have every right to be angry. And I don't like the fact that people's like, oh, you're just another angry black man. Yeah, I'm angry. Very angry. There's been times where I've been in a situation with Europeans, and I'm like, yo, I know I want to put my hands on them. But if I do, I know the consequence behind it. They control the system. I can't let this get me upset. I'll just go teach our children, teach them about it so they can avoid any and every situation I've been in. I want to have a better tomorrow for them. Because the only way we're going to get liberation if we teach our children. The connectional village diagram, with the children being in the center. In Africa, the children are the center of everything. And community and family provide opportunity for. When I was coming up, the whole community was disciplined. The entire community. Your mother, your auntie, your father, your grandmother. And once you got a whooping from somebody or a discipline checked by somebody, oh, next person coming up. And what you was doing? Now we have a generation of parents that's so miseducated, you cannot say anything to their children. It's a generation where if you say something to the child, you're trying to correct the behavior, you can't say nothing to my child. Who are you, nigga? And I had women, I'm on the bus, I'll get up and they had 3 or 4 children with them, I offer my seat. It was like, I'm good. I was like, okay. And then their children be getting ready to sit down. She said, don't sit down. I'm working on a chapter in my research called Parental Miseducation of the Child. The parents are so much of a byproduct of the mental illness of self-hatred, they don't know subconsciously what they're doing. When a mother gives birth, you're supposed to, the child has an attachment to you. A lot of the new generation of parents will drop their child off to daycare. It's like, I'm about to have a good time. That daycare, the school won't take care of them. The school won't educate them. And then not working on anything at home. And I've seen it after school spaces where the first thing at the after school program, a lot of Negroes would be like, what you got for homework? Not asking how the day went. I would do this when I was at Kelly Middle School in DC. I would ask them, how's your day been so far on a 1 to 10? They'd be like, all right, it's a 5. Something happened at the house. Matter of fact, I ain't been home in 3 days. Me and my mom got too. I'm paying all the bills. My mom tripping on me. I'm paying the bills. Paying her phone bill. Paying the light bill. Providing food, clothes, and water for my little brothers and sisters. My mother trying to make me her man. This is something that a youth told me, like literally out of his mouth. He's 14 years old, getting the pressure of being a grown man. But in Africa, the rites of passage usually happens at 13, 14. Same way that the Jewish people had the bar mitzvah for the 13, for their youth. But the pressure of being put on our young people at 10, 11, 12, not prepared to deal with the system. Dr. Frances Cress Wilson has a lecture that she did at the Old Freedom Home with Brother Marcus Klein brings in. What if we taught our children about racism and white supremacy at an early age? One of the first images, I think about an episode on Family Matters. Well, I think it was Laura's locker. It had the N-word on the locker. And then she asked her parents about it, and they didn't understand. Let's break down what Family Matters looks like. Her father was a police officer.
Right.
So he's already working within the system. So he's not looking at it like, he's looking at it from a perspective like, no, ain't nothing wrong. I know it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? People are racist, but no, you have to explain this to them. I got called a nigga the first time when I was 15. I was in a camp called Midtown. Me and some other black brothers was on the elevator at Robert Morris College. It was a Euro-Mexican. Father is white, mom is like Mexican. So one of the brothers is on probation. So that's why he's working in the program. And the Euro-Mexican Latino ass, he's like, y'all want to hear a joke? We naive, we don't know. He's like, what happens if you turn off all the lights in the elevator? He's looking at each other, he's like, what? We all said at the same time, he's like, you can't see no black people. I stopped my brother from putting hands on him. And then we told our supervisor, he said something again to one of the guys that was on the elevator, but he ended up getting fired. But that's not enough punishment. Like, we just gonna fire him and let him go. What is that teaching the other boys in the program? As his friends. And I dealt with a lot of issues of racism where I catch one of the white boys in the program spitting in the cooler.
Oh, wow.
Where the black children and youth are drinking from. And one of the other black guys, he's not biting at all. I think he stole off him. And then he told him, he was like, man, y'all gonna fire me, but I stole off old boy. I caught him spitting in the cooler. He's like, I was drinking that.
Bobby was shaving.
He said, I was drinking out of that. He was a coach.
Right.
He was older too. He was about 16 or 17. But he punched him in the face. He was like, y'all gonna fire me now, but I can't let that ride. But he was spitting in the cooler. When I found that out, they was telling him, he was like, don't worry. He was like, I'm fired, but best believe when you come off of work, me and the guys gonna be waiting on you. So he ended up, I think he quit like that day. Like he had his father come get him that day. But that's what I'm talking about. It needs to be a consequence for stuff like that. You gotta understand you're not gonna keep doing this.
Sanctions.
You're not
Right, sanctions.
Yeah, sanctions. You gotta have sanctions. If you're doing something wrong to our people, you get no more money at all. You're not getting no more money. If you're black, I don't care. You're not getting any more money off the people. And we gotta understand, you cannot keep putting out violations after violation after violation. You can't keep doing it. I told somebody, if I see somebody mistreating a child, I seen it on the train where a dude was harassing some youth, and I hemmed him up. I was like, man, leave them shorties alone. He's like, what you gonna do? I walked up on him, hemmed him up. I said, bro, I'm not gonna play with you. Don't touch them, don't leave them alone, man. Like you talking to them young girls trying to pimp them, don't do it no more around me. Don't do it. Because you're going to have some problems on your hands if I see it. You got to check that type of behavior. You got to check it at the front door. You got to check it. There's no middle ground. You either revolutionary or a tool for oppression. There's no middleman. You can't play no middleman when we at war. You can't straddle the fence. You either with us or against us. If you're not with us, when that Turner said he had 1,000 slaves, he said, how many of y'all with him? 100 stood up. He's like, y'all 100 killed 900. They gonna be a problem. Get rid of it. Harriet Tubman killed her own husband because he was gonna go tell master. And then she would have to take slaves at gunpoint on the Underground Railroad. When one would go back, she was like, man, he was like, where you going? I'm going back to the place. He was like, I'll shoot you dead. If you go back, you're not going back. And it's like, at a certain point, what we're going to do, we're going to tell, no, leave the Negroes alone. At a certain point, we just going to start knocking on the door. We're like, all right, it's that time, you sign up, you put us up against us. You're not, we're just going to have to bust your head. You got a question?
Yeah, how did Harriet Tubman get a gun?
I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sure she took it.
She ain't have a stash. She's probably there. She probably snatched it from somebody.
Look at you.
That's a
Great question.
I heard that story.
I heard she was a spy for the army.
Yeah, she was.
That was after.
Yeah, that's the fact. That was after the fact.
No, that's a good one.
I'll tell somebody the book, Spook That Set by the Door, some people that don't like it for some reason.
I never read it. I just seen the movie.
I was telling somebody, sometimes I got people that are in that position now. Some of them go to Ivy League schools, some of them are getting their PhDs, but they give me research from Harvard, Yale, these white prestigious institutions, and I use it as far as, you know, the giving the information that they was like, bro, I love you, but I ain't trying to mess up my family situation. I want to support you. You know, I'm married to a black woman, or, you know, I'm married to a black person, but I want to provide an opportunity better for my family. And I was like, I respect that. But he's like, I'm giving you these tools to light that fire.
Right.
And then when the time comes, when I'm out of position working for somebody else, when I get my own, I'll come stand side by side with you. But there's some people that's working in the system that's doing great work. They're using the tools to their advantage. Somebody, the whole book of T, they was like, he took all that money from white people. I was like, he was getting his reparations. He sure did. He was getting his reparations because he knew that economically with business, that Europeans coming to him to get bricks. All the Europeans from the East Coast are coming to Booker T for the bricks. He's the only one they're coming to. The agriculture, they're coming to him. So he's still making money. A lot of people say, oh, he'll sell up for cast down the iron bucket. Do you understand what he was saying? Cast down the iron bucket, get your own water, be self-reliant. You bang on Booker T, but you love Garvey. But Garvey was a student of Booker T. Washington. That's like the whole thing I was saying with the whole Afrocentric piece. Yeah, I'm Afrocentric. I celebrate Kwanzaa, and I don't celebrate the holidays, but I know we dealing with my family. I was like, bro, You still celebrating the holidays. You know what I'm saying? I seen a little nice cupcakes you got. I seen a nice car you got in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I respect it. There's nothing you can do. I'm not going to change who I am. And it's a lot of people I know, professors that I have had, and other Negroes I know that are activists. They drive up to the protest, but they park 2 blocks away. He's like, why you parking here? I don't know how to see the car. I was like, man, what's up with that, bro? Like, why you parking over there, man?
I'm not saying that, man. Yeah, so good.
Beautiful thing, I just came and take some pictures.
Yeah, taking pictures. And a lot of people don't understand, a lot of the activists that are in front of the camera, they just do it for photo ops.
Right.
And then a lot of the cameramen and people are actually agents. There's been instances where I've been at community events where I don't sign off from the waiver. I catch a cameraman, it was a Urugu cameraman, taking pictures of me. I was like, this is what we can do. I got my security detail with me. We can either delete the photo, or we can just take your camera and we can take your memory card. Now, which choice do you want? You don't want to delete it, I know. Matter of fact, take the camera. Be gone. You're not gonna take no picture of me. And I already know I got a file. I'm not gonna let you take no pictures of me. If you want to take it, man, there's a consequence for your action. A, give up the camera. B, delete the picture. Or C, we take the camera. If you want to take the camera, it's going to be a consequence. And what I said, D. He said, what's D? All the above. Okay?
You gotta be careful that when they delete the picture in your face, there's actually it goes into a folder that says it's really not completely 100% deleted for I think 30 days. So you gotta delete and then go into.
That's why we took the camera.
Like on all the camera phones, there's 2 folders. You have a deleted folder and you have like a regular folder that holds your camera. So when you delete the camera, when you delete, like say if I take a picture right now and then I show it to you, I'm like, see this picture? Okay, I hit delete. That's not enough. There's another folder where it goes into your deleted photos and it will remain there for 30 days until you delete it permanently.
Now y'all know why I'm so high and mighty on you.
Right.
I mean, do what you gonna do, just let me move your camera.
You photographer.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take the picture. I'll take the picture, boss.
That's all I have for now. I appreciate everybody coming out and going.